Although Europe is a very beautiful continent, and there are countries in it where everyone dreams of visiting. The history and culture of the countries here fascinate the mind. At the same time, every country here is highly developed, whether it is technology, economy or social system. The countries here are far ahead in all these. But you all must be aware that no matter how developed a country is, it definitely has some shortcomings. The flaw I am going to talk about is racism. Racism is a disease that you will find everywhere, or rather in every country. And you must also know that if a person's caste is high, and the person in front of him is of a lower caste, then the higher caste person will not even want to see that lower caste person. Whatever I am telling you, I am not telling you just like that. I have seen all this happening with my own eyes, and if you also want to see this, then you will find many videos of it on the internet. Well friends, only the one with whom this casteism happens knows this pain. You and I only see it. Now whatever European countries I am going to name, many of you may not agree with me, but believe me, you cannot even imagine what can happen in this world. Well, it is our responsibility to stop such racist things and treat every person equally in the society, whether black or white, whether rich or poor, everyone has the right to respect. So let us now know which are the countries where racism occurs the most. So our first country is France. France's challenges with racism are rooted in both its colonial history and modern-day migration patterns. For decades, people from former French colonies in North and Sub-Saharan Africa have migrated to France in search of better opportunities, often settling in densely populated urban areas. However, the lack of economic opportunity, combined with instances of racial profiling and inequality, has led to significant tension and challenges for these communities. For example, incidents of police violence, particularly in neighborhoods with high immigrant populations, have drawn widespread criticism and fueled protests. In response to public demand, the French government has begun addressing these issues by revisiting police practices and increasing diversity training within law enforcement. Meanwhile, French artists, activists, and media voices continue to push the conversation forward, using their platforms to call out racism and promote inclusivity. So you have seen this as the condition of France. The government here is now making some laws so that racism can be stopped, and this is also very important. So let's move on to our next country, which is Germany. Germany's response to racism has been influenced by its commitment to acknowledge and learn from its past. The country has long worked to atone for historical injustices, and this commitment is visible in its robust legal frameworks against hate speech and discrimination. However, rising far-right sentiments, particularly in certain regions, pose ongoing challenges. The Syrian refugee crisis in 2015 marked a significant moment for Germany, as it welcomed over 1 million refugees, an act met with both praise and internal tensions. Communities from Turkey, Syria, and other backgrounds have become an integral part of German society. Still, members of these communities sometimes report feeling marginalized. In response, Germany has increased efforts toward integration, with initiatives that include language programs, job training, and cultural orientation for newcomers. Additionally, Germany has introduced programs in schools that teach students about diversity and inclusion from a young age, fostering a culture that values equality. Well, many changes have been seen in Germany in the last few years, and to be honest, Germany is taking very good decisions to stop racism, so that unity is maintained in the society. So let's move on to our third country, which is Italy. Italy's immigration landscape has evolved significantly over the past few decades, particularly due to its proximity to the Mediterranean. With many migrants arriving from Africa and the Middle East, Italy has become a gateway to Europe, and while some cities have embraced this diversity, rural areas can sometimes struggle to integrate new populations. In these regions, immigrants face obstacles like limited access to quality education and healthcare, as well as economic inequalities. There is a significant divide between northern and southern Italy, with the north generally offering more job opportunities and resources for immigrants. In response, the Italian government has implemented initiatives aimed at easing integration challenges. Policies focused on creating fairer access to housing and education have been introduced, and the country has adopted some EU-wide anti-discrimination laws to protect immigrants and minorities. Despite the struggles, Italy's major cities, like Rome, Milan, and Naples, host vibrant, multicultural communities. These cities have seen a rise in multicultural events and festivals, and younger generations are increasingly vocal about equality and inclusivity. So our next country is United Kingdom. The UK's multiculturalism is one of its defining features, with a rich tapestry of cultures that contribute to British society. However, issues of discrimination remain prevalent, especially within areas of employment, education, and the criminal justice system. Over the years, movements like Black Lives Matter have gained significant traction in the UK, leading to an increased awareness in national conversations about racial inequality. Historically, the Windrush generation, migrants from Caribbean countries who were invited to the UK after World War II, faced substantial discrimination. In recent years saw a scandal where many members of this generation were wrongfully detained or even deported. The scandal sparked outrage and prompted the government to reevaluate its immigration policies and treatment of long-term residents. The UK has many prominent anti-racism organizations. For example, the Equality and Human Rights Commission actively monitors and promotes equality policies, while local charities and groups, such as the Stephen Lawrence Charitable Trust, provide resources to marginalized communities. These groups play essential roles in educating the public, holding institutions accountable, and working with the government to address systemic inequality. Although there used to be a lot of racism in the United Kingdom, for some years now the British government has been creating institutions that can prevent racism. So let's move on to our last country, which is Hungary. Hungary's stance on immigration and ethnic diversity is shaped by its political landscape. In recent years, the government has taken a strong stance against immigration, which has led to increased scrutiny and criticism from the European Union. Minority groups, including Romani communities, have reported persistent discrimination, especially in education, where Romani children sometimes face segregated schooling. The refugee crisis has added further challenges, as Hungary has implemented strict border policies to limit immigration. These policies have led to tension within the EU, as many feel that Hungary's approach isolates minorities and limits opportunities for integration. However, there are local and international groups working to address these challenges. Organizations like the Hungarian Helsinki Committee provide legal support to refugees and minorities, while other NGOs work on community-based projects to improve social cohesion. Despite these challenges, there are citizens and activists in Hungary who advocate for human rights and inclusivity. Artists, writers, and activists use their platforms to highlight these issues, promoting dialogue and understanding. Additionally, the EU provides funding for programs aimed at supporting minority communities in Hungary, demonstrating a broader commitment to inclusion across Europe. So these are the 5 countries of Europe where racism is highest, but now these countries are making such laws and rules which will end racism, although only time will tell what will happen next. And we hope that racism can be stopped soon, but racism is a disease which can perhaps be suppressed but cannot be eliminated. So this was today's video. If you want to tell me something, then please tell me in the comments, and also tell me what topic the next video should be on. I will definitely try to make a video on whatever topic you comment on. So friends, if you like this video, then do subscribe the channel. I will continue to bring similar videos in future also. See you in the next video.